On cue.
Yeah.
That fire danger is already here.
That's what we're concerned about. Fortunately, we did get that little bit of rain in April to kind of bring the fire fuel moisture to where it ought to be this time of year. Drought conditions, we just got an update from the U.S. Drought Monitor yesterday. Still not great, but better than they could be. And we do have some rain chances in the forecast as we head through the weekend and into next week. Going to be very light, not going to put a dent in these long-term drought conditions. Most of the Bay Area classified as being in severe drought. That's the second worst category. Extreme drought is a worst category. That's where eastern Solano County and far northeastern Contra Costa County are registered, along with almost all of the Central Valley. But 1 year ago, 100% of the Bay Area was in extreme drought. That was the second worst category. Severe drought's the third worst category. It's bad enough when severe is the middle of the scale, and it just gets worse from there. Extreme and exceptional drought are worse. We are better off than we were 365 days ago, but it's still far from a good situation. Statewide, I want to look at the big picture numbers here. 0% of the states in exceptional drought, just that little spot there in Nevada as you look at the entire western U.S. 41% of California, though, in extreme drought, and almost all of the state is in severe drought conditions. And as we head into the dry months, that's not likely to get any better. There's a storm system passing to our north, sending at least some clouds into the Bay Area, stronger onshore winds as well, and it's going to squeeze the atmosphere and try to produce a few showers as we head through this evening. Nothing really showing up on first alert Doppler, but the radar site in the South Bay kind of shoots over the top of any showers over the North Bay. There are some hit or miss showers there and some patches of drizzle that we're seeing even in San Francisco, some of the higher elevations down the peninsula and into the Oakland Hills as well. Futurecast picks up on those shower chances for the North Bay as we head to this evening, even trying to run them down into San Francisco and down the peninsula, at least along the coast. I think a lot of this is going to fall apart, but just a generally damp feel to the air as we head through the rest of tonight with that fog, low cloud cover, and drizzle spreading into the inland valleys to start the day on Saturday. That's going to back up towards the coast as we head towards mid to late morning. The next storm system taking shape to our north isn't going to move in until the second half of the weekend, with a better chance of rain for everybody. The best chance overall is going to be north of the Golden Gate. Those North Bay rain chances are going to be at their highest on Sunday, and that's when some of the showers could make their way down even towards San Francisco and Oakland. Monday, the best chance is going to be north of the Golden Gate, but another chance maybe creeping farther south Tuesday of next week. Adding up the rain, this is not going to be a substantial rainmaker for us as we look ahead through the weekend. We're talking about maybe trace amounts, if even that, inland in the East Bay and the Santa Clara Valley. A few hundredths of an inch of rain for most spots along the coast. Some of the higher elevations of the North Bay could pick up more than a tenth of an inch of rain, which in the month of May, anything measurable is a bonus at this point in the rainy season. Right now, looking outside, there is the fog thick enough to register as some drizzle downtown where the temperature is 59 degrees. Otherwise, temperatures are mostly in the 60s, still holding on to 70 degrees right now in Concord. That's temporary. Those temperatures are going to drop off tonight. And the wind, while it's noticeable right now, it's going to be stronger tomorrow. The current winds, mostly around 15 miles an hour for those sustained wind speeds. Those are going to pick up into the 20 to 30 mile an hour range tomorrow, which is going to impact our temperatures with that strong onshore flow. Temperatures tonight dropping down to around 50 degrees in most spots, just not bouncing back from that point a whole lot. We're going to end up about 3 to 5 degrees below average in most locations by Saturday afternoon. It's going to be cool, it's going to be breezy, but still the better half of the weekend for outdoor activities with that better chance of showers dropping in on Sunday. Mid to upper 50s along the coast tomorrow, mid to upper 60s down the peninsula and around the south end of the bay, with mostly upper 60s in the Santa Clara Valley, maybe up to 70 degrees for Morgan Hill. Upper 60s in the Tri-Valley, closer to 70 for Pleasant Hill and Concord, and some low 70s east of the Diablo Range. Those are the warm spots, just in the low 70s. It's not that warm for May. Upper 50s in San Francisco, but mid 60s on the east side of the bay, and mid to upper 60s to around 70 degrees for the North Bay, with more sunshine overhead interspersed with some passing cloud cover. And then temperatures take another dive as we head into the second half of the weekend. So be flexible with any outdoor plans for Mother's Day. We do have that chance of some scattered showers. Don't think they're going to survive to make it into the Santa Clara Valley or inland in the East Bay, but at least there is a chance for a little bit of measurable rain Sunday and again on Tuesday. Once those temperatures drop inland for the second half of the weekend, we're going to spend the rest of next week trying to claw our way back to what's normal for this time of year. So cool stretch of weather ahead, which does also help with the fire threat. Cooler temperatures means higher humidity levels, and we'll take whatever help we can get.